3 people have been charged today in connection with a homicide in Dillon.
And Livingston could get a substantial amount of money and expert advice for a sprucing up. How you can help make that happen.
That's super cool. Just
yes,
ahead
it
of
is.
6:30 here on this Wednesday. Chet Lehman, Donna Kelly with you here. It's going to be a hat head day. And take no shame if you have hat head. It's a good thing. You're going to want to wear it today over those ears, exposed skin. It's cold out there right now. Take a look at what we're talking about. There's nothing in the sky. Well, that's not true. There's lots of things in the sky. Satellites, rockets, all kinds of things. The International Space Station. We'll show you what's going on up there in a couple of minutes. Meantime, no clouds to speak of. Here's what it looks like temperature-wise out there. Teens 0. We're actually above 0 for everybody except for Helena right now. But wind chills are much colder than that. Your planner for today going to warm up all the way into the 20s with lots of sunshine. That'll be the good news. It'll be back near average tonight. For Butte, low 20s for your daytime highs with lots of sunshine. Again, 10 to 15 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. Hat head is okay. Take a picture of your hat head and post it to us. We will proudly display your hat head display
Good plan.
Here on Montana This Morning. Why? Coming up in 10 minutes, Don.
All right, Chet, thank you. Good idea. 1 man is dead and 3 people are in custody in connection with a homicide in Dillon. MTN's John Amy has new information on the case.
3 people made their initial appearances today in Justice Court in Dillon in connection with the murder of a 49-year-old Dillon man. Police have identified the victim as Larry Kuhn. 19-year-old Sandy Moore was charged with deliberate homicide in connection with killing the victim in his home. Christina Van Dunen and Carrie Sam Johnson, both of Dillon, face felony counts of obstruction of justice. The chief said Kuhn was a native of Dillon and well known in the community.
Kind of a town character, so to speak. You know, he's been around a lot. He was a nice guy. He was a likable guy, a nice guy. And it's just it's a shame, and my heart and the department's heart goes out to the family.
Chief Giberson said this has been a complicated case with a lot of people involved, and there still may be more charges coming.
The officers of the Dillon Police Department, they did just a wonderful professional job. They continue doing that. They're working day and night.
The chief noted that Dillon is a small, tight-knit community, and a violent crime like this can really shake up the people.
It does rock a small community, especially, you know, a person that's kind of well known and people see him around all the time.
In Dillon, John Amy, MTN News.
Police still have not released how the victim was killed and other details about the case, saying that it is still under investigation. A Bozeman woman could face up to a decade behind bars after police say that she refused to be arrested and kicked an officer in the groin. According to court documents, 2 officers responded to a possible trespassing and disorderly conduct call last evening. It was at the Roadway Inn on Wheat Drive. That's where they say they found Sherry Sandoval throwing objects at a man in their hotel room. Sandoval told officers she had been drinking and was being questioned when officers say she became upset, so they started to arrest her. And that's when Sandoval mule kicked one of the officers in the groin, which started a struggle involving Sandoval threatening to kill other officers responding. Officers had to restrain her to take her into custody. A routine police patrol through the Walmart parking lot in Bozeman ended in an arrest and the discovery of a lot of drugs. Court documents show that Stephen Sneeringer is now charged with 2 counts of having dangerous drugs. Bozeman police say a quick run of Sneeringer's license plate came up with the information telling them that he was a parole violator out of Billings. When officers eventually pulled him over, police say that they found about 82 grams of meth and about 17 grams of heroin after a search of his vehicle. The prosecuting attorney says this is not Sneeringer's first drug crime.
It looks like there's been 3 convictions of that charge back in 2014, as well as, let's see, a parole violation in 2016, possession of property subject to forfeiture, parole violation, resisting arrest, possession of drug paraphernalia in 2017.
Sneeringer's bail is set at $150,000. The search for missing 16-year-old Hardin teen Selena Not Afraid got some more help yesterday, courtesy of the Bureau of Land Management. The Montana-Dakota BLM office sent law enforcement and fire personnel to the Hardin area to assist in the search for Not Afraid. The BLM is working closely with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, which is currently leading the investigation. Not Afraid was last seen at the I-90 rest stop between Billings and Hardin at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on New Year's Day. Hardin High School counselors have been helping the student body cope with their classmates' disappearance. School counselors said that they've been encouraging students to say Not Afraid's name so that her case does not slip out of the public eye. If you have any information on her whereabouts, call 406-665-9800. The FAA and NTSB continue to investigate a plane crash that claimed the lives of 4 Billings residents over the weekend. We do have some new information to report. We've now confirmed that the plane had taken off from Hardin Saturday evening around 5:40 and crashed about 20 minutes later. The plane hit a tower and guy lines, a tower that did not appear on the map. And the reason for that, we learned, is because that tower was 185 feet tall and would have only been charted if it were over 200 feet. Yellowstone County Sheriff Mike Linder identified 69-year-old David Hilo as the pilot of the aircraft. Also killed in the crash, Rusty Jungles, Michael Peterson, and Raymond Rumbold, all in their 30s. RY Timber says the company will close operations at its Townsend location, and that means that 70 employees will be out of a job. According to a company press release, there are chronic timber supply problems which forced the Townsend mill to operate at half of its capacity. All timber will be moved to RY's Livingston location, where the company now expects to operate at full production. RY Timber says that the 70 employees affected by the closure will be offered separation pay and possible transfers to the Livingston mill. The layoffs will happen on April 1st. One of the biggest events in the country that focuses on our spending habits is happening in New York City this week. The National Retail Federation show features companies with their eyes and ears on the retail industry. The group partnered with IBM to get an idea on what is most important to us. One trend they found is people are buying with a purpose. They care about things like sustainability and recycling.
Because it's tying to the deep beliefs of the consumer, people are prepared to pay more for that deep belief, and the benefit is going to ultimately deliver to the planet.
The survey found those who say sustainability is very important would pay up to 35% more for that product, but they also want proof.
The key piece here is, how do you demonstrate to the consumer that your product is truly sustainable throughout its life cycle? And that's where trust and traceability of everything that goes into a product is really key and important.
And value is also still critical for shoppers. IBM's consumer industries expert says that Walmart is an example of a company that's trying to balance both value and sustainability. They're using blockchain technology to track foods from fields to shelves. The city of Livingston is one of 5 finalists in the running for $500,000 to revolutionize small businesses in its community. For the first time, a Montana town has been selected as a finalist for a TV small business makeover show, and that could give small businesses in town a nice facelift. The show is called Small Business Revolution, and anybody can vote to get Livingston on the show. If the town is selected, it will receive money to help revamp a number of stores and get professional advice from experts on the show.
What we find is that small businesses, they invest back into their community, they invest in their employees, they invest in their environment, and that if small businesses and small towns are successful, this economy for this whole nation, I think, is more successful.
People can vote for Livingston from today until January 21st. The competition is called the Top 5 Small Business Revolution Towns, and Livingston was selected among thousands as a finalist, and you can find the link to vote for Livingston on our webpage. Well, you think of fever and body aches when somebody gets the flu, but what's happened to a young girl that has doctors warning parents? And here's what they're working on for CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS This Morning, new evidence emerges in the Ukraine scandal as the House is set to vote today on sending the articles of impeachment to the Senate. What newly released text messages and handwritten notes reveal. And first, on CBS This Morning, we'll hear from 3 of Russell Simmons' accusers who detailed disturbing allegations of sexual assault. We'll see you at 7 o'clock.